What is good, YouTube? We are back. Let me see. Let me try out a new template for let me see if this looks better on camera. So I'll try this template out for today for the YouTube, but I still use my regular blue and white. But let's talk about today. I took one loss. Quick, it was a nice tiny loss, $400, 20 points. Let's get into today and what happened. So obviously over the weekend we did have I didn't want to call it a war, but the scuffle with Iran. I don't know how to pronounce it properly, but we did have a scuffle with Iran. So we did gap down and we created this new week opening gap. During Sunday's open, I'm gonna just telegraph what I'm saying. We created a new week opening gap, we gap down, tap back into the new week opening gap, CE perfect. They created our Asia high right here, and then we created a 2 1 hour bearish gaps coming into the morning. And so seeing that, I'm bearish till I'm not. You know, once again, just looking at structure. We've just been bearish all of towards the end of January and throughout all of February. We have these crazy lows being put in, lower highs, lower lows, you know, and just showing just natural bearish structure. We did end up rebalancing during the middle of February, but looking at the 1 hour, you can really, it kind of looks like AMD, which is what we naturally trade. You know, you have this accumulation period, manipulation, I guess you could say if you want to, but since we're looking at a higher time frame, then obviously distribution, and then once again, this is the bearish structure that we are seeing, right? And so, okay. And so coming into market open, what's wrong with my stuff? Okay. Coming into market open, I'm seeing these 2 1 hour gaps being put in. Those are the wrong ones. I see this new week opening gap right here. I see these 2 1 hour gaps put in. And so ideally in my head, I'm bearish till I'm not, right? You know, you potentially want to see a tap into this 1 hour and then a push lower. But at market open, we were just in a 1 hour bullish gap. So even though I am looking and I'm seeing a bearish bias, I guess you could say, I'm still, you know, waiting to see what market wants to do. Let me use replay now, start new. So coming into market, we once again create this 1 hour bullish, 1 hour bearish. Now we are in a range. Obviously we open at 8:30. So at 9 o'clock, when we also had news, by the way, I potentially want to see this 1 hour gap hold, and then you see this gap hold, and you can take a gap, you can take an inverse to the downside to our draws below, or you can see this gap hold and then we inverse this gap, pull back, and continuation higher, right? Those are obviously the two scenarios that we have in play. And so market is doing its thing. Let's speed this up a little bit. And I'm chilling. We're not even at market open yet. Holy. Okay, let me just mark out market open. And okay, so off market open, we get this crazy bullish reaction, 150 points to the upside in 2 seconds. Holy, 200 points actually. And right here, we had created a 5-minute gap. Let me we had created a 5-minute gap that I'm looking at, and this is once again what I just said. I want to see one of these gaps hold, a pullback, and then I can take it to our nearest draws, which will be the Asia high which is inside our new week opening gap, and then we have our new week opening gap fill, which I just demarcated with this liquidity line right here, and then we also have New York PM above, so on and so forth. And so we create this 5-minute bullish gap, right? And I want to see now a tap back into it, and once again an inversion to the upside to come take out Asia. Easy peasy, right? You would think so. Right here, we just never ended up tagging this 5-minute gap. And was there one? There was no 1-minute gaps to inverse, but ideally you wanted to see a tag into this 5, a 1-minute inverse, and then you're taken to your Asia high, because we failed to take it out already, right? Simple once again. And then you're targeting something like this and something potentially like that. We just failed to come tag this 5-minute. Okay, we failed to tag it. 9 a.m. hit. The new 9 a.m. candle didn't really do much, but since it is 9 a.m., we did end up creating our 15-minute bullish gap, right? Which is our gap of the session. Right, so we create this 15-minute bullish gap right here, and here's what happened. Let me move this back. So on this candle right here, I don't have the 30-second time frame. Do I want it? Sometimes. Do I care enough to get it? No, because I can do most of my trading on the 1-minute. So having the 30-second doesn't really do much for me. But right here, I believe we probably put in a 30-second inverse and or 30-second gap, and then we also had what's it called? We also were going to create a gap. Obviously, we could see due to the size of this candle, but we just ended up instantly. What's it called? What would you even call that? We essentially just matched the bearish candle we just put in off of the 15-minute gap tap. So there was really no entry to get in at. And so we created this 60-point bearish candle, and we matched it with a 70-point bullish candle to the upside. No entry for anybody to get in on. And, you kind of miss your opportunity. Or not, you're not missing your opportunity because there was no entry set up, but I just wasn't able to get in off of that. Obviously, okay, you now have your gap of the session. You ideally want to see it get tagged into, and then play upwards. We are obviously showing bullish structure. I will say the price action was bad. We know we were chopping in this range. We have this 3-drive pattern, right? But at the end of the day, you still want to see price action follow through. So ideally you want a 15-minute gap tap or a 5-minute gap tap, and then a inverse to the upside. And so what happens is, I believe there was a short opportunity right here. At this time, ES did create a 1-minute bearish gap, and I know there was a 30-second bearish gap here as well. And you probably could have taken shorts to the downside to this 5-minute unfilled for a cool calm 50 points. Let me put this back where it was. You could probably take shorts to the downside with a cheap stop, 50 points. It's a 1-to-2 ratio essentially. The reason I didn't want to take shorts is, once again, I don't have the 30-second time frame, and I did see ES create its 1-minute bearish gap, but I just not my cup of tea. We're obviously bullish. I don't want to short into the 5-minute unfilled, even though it is a possibility. And I didn't want to short into this 15 potentially. So I'm waiting. We came and swept out Asia, which is within the new week opening gap, and then we actually filled the new week opening gap. And from there, we can see right here what happens. Let me actually go back to it. We can see what happens. So you see this bearish force to the downside, and we tag into this tiny 5-minute bullish gap, right? Super tiny 5-minute bullish gap, and it also happens to be a 1-minute bullish gap as well, right? So obviously this is just what I've been saying the whole trading, this whole recap. Reaction, pullback, entry, right? And tag the 15, super strong reaction. We just swept out our new week opening gap fill, swept out Asia, left a 1 minute bear gap behind, right? Tagged into this 5 minute, tagged into this 1 minute bullish, inversed this 1 minute bearish gap, and we take our entry. And we are targeting these previous highs we put in, which isn't much, to be honest. And I have my stops below the fair value gap because if I was to have it, let's see, yeah, I didn't want a 40-point stop, even though it's probably the better stop. But if off this reaction, price should be exploding to the upside and taking out this high immediately. So even off the fact that we failed, that we're coming back down to test this 1 minute bearish inverse, it's easier to put my stop here, and it's the stop I wanted, 20-point stop, real calm, real petite. And we just failed to go higher. Even though we did get a little bit of reaction or a little bit of a push higher, we just failed to continue that way. And what happens? So actually, I do want to talk about this. Sometimes in life, not in life, sometimes when trading, you are the manipulation leg, and you might think the move is the move, but you just need one more sweep, right? And what does price do for us? Bro, I cannot make my line straight for the life of me. I think that's straight. But anyways, we see this reaction and you're like, okay, this is super clean. I'll take it 10 out of 10 times. But price just comes and it sweeps out this low, and it plays around a little bit, and we start showing bullish structure, which is what I wanted. And I could have taken a re-entry, but I'm really trying to be strict on my one trade a day. So I only took one a day, but I was itching, man. I was so tempted to take another stab at this because it's like, I know where it's going. But yeah, I did get manipulated, stop rated, whatever you want to call it. And we come sweep out this low we put in, and we just show strength back to the upside. And I'm off the charts by then, so I'm not, it is what it is. But it's a kind of annoying, you don't want to see your trade lose, obviously, but sometimes you have to pay to play. I did pay, and I did not get back in because this would have been an easy long to the upside. That's pretty much it for today. A nice little loss. It wasn't nothing too crazy. Let me pull it up real quick. Okay. So I took one loss today. Once again, $400 loss essentially. I was supposed to copy trade both my accounts, and I forgot to link them. So one account is at 50 on the dot, and one is at 49.6. And this is where we are in market currently. Sometimes you just know, man. This would have even been a nice inversion, I believe. You take that inversion to the upside. Holy, that's free chicken. And you take this to here, to that previous high. Wow. Maybe it's like I should have stayed on, but I didn't really want to force nothing. That's my trade for today. I hope y'all boys caught a dub. Alright, then I'm gonna be back tomorrow. Recaps being uploaded daily, every day for March. We are getting paid this month. Glory be to God. Amen. Amen.